Hi everyone, thanks for having me today. Thanks to Grusp for that, and thanks for being here. Today I'm not going to talk about technology right off the bat. I have something different for you, and I hope this will be interesting for some of you. I will just skim through this because Chip did a great job presenting me, introducing me, and today we'll talk a bit about our experience as a company in how important culture is in employee experience and in general, in specific, to the developer experience. We are a company, we are SparkFabrik, we are this company. What we do, we are a service company, we are a small one, 55 people today, and what we do is creating cloud-native solutions and infrastructures for enterprise customers. We was born more or less 10 years ago. And before starting and talking about me and the company and what we did, I wanted to perform a quick poll. I already understood that there are many developers here, so I won't ask anymore. How many of you are actually proactively and constantly involved in the onboarding process and welcoming new people in the company? A lot of you. That's wonderful. And are you the same? Is it also because you are engaging into the platforming of the company, the developer experience from a technical point of view? How many of you are doing that? Way less. Okay. Okay. I have I to come here. Okay. 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 The last question is, how many of you consider their last onboarding experience, the one they experience, to have been great? Is the question? Did I make my point? No? That's okay. That's a problem. I thought some of you. Well, okay. I will try to explain you what we did to improve all the onboarding phase in SparkFabrik, and how much culture is impactful in this process. And in the second part of the talk, I will talk you about some of the challenges we are still facing. Now, my personal challenge today is to stay in time because I'm very talkative and I have a lot to do, so I have a lot to say. It will be pretty dense. I will probably rush a bit, but if you want to engage with the conversation with me on specific topics I will talk about, we can catch up later, okay? So I already talked about SparkFabrik. One important thing is that, to mention is that SparkFabrik was founded more or less 10 years ago by 5 developers. I am one of the founders that wanted a place to call home, okay? We were over with a lot of inefficiencies, let's call them like this, that we experienced in our previous jobs and the companies we worked into. And we decided together, all of us met in the community, we decided together and to become entrepreneurs so that we can create a place we feel we belong to, okay? What are the main value that has driven SparkFabrik since the start? Quality. I'm not trying to, be pompous, okay? When I talk about quality, I'm not talking about being the best because we know we are the best. It's like striving to provide quality in every single things we do. Technical quality, relational quality, quality of life, quality of the social part, the social connections, okay? It's like not doing things just because. It's like doing things because we care, okay? And the 2 pillars of these are people and the technical excellence we strive to achieve, okay? It is a constant striving towards the excellence. In the scope of this talk, I will define culture. Culture is a very broad, has a lot of meaning. I guess it's an overloaded word. When I talk about culture today, I talk about the attitudes and behaviors that characterize an organization, whichever human organization, okay? Volunteering, companies, every human network show some predominant behaviors, and this is culture. Today, I would say that even more than ever, matching culture is a key point in success of organizations. Now, for example, we talk about diversity, and diversity is a part of the culture. I mean, caring about diversity. Okay, so matching culture is not like narrowing everything. It's like be aware that when you enter a social schema, social construct, you want really to feel that the set of values you experience every day follow your own nature and and allows you to bring something meaningful to the table. I would say that that's way more important. It has ever been for us way more important than technical skills, because trust me, my grandma is 92. If I sit down with her explaining React, she can still learn how to code React, okay? This is not what seniority is. This is not what we are called to do. Today, it's coding React, it's coding Angular, it's coding Laravel, whatever you want, but the main goal that a company should always try to do is understanding if you can do it safely and effectively inside the social structure. I've said it before, but this is very important. It's a very important part. You can't just print your culture on a pamphlet, distribute it everywhere, and say, okay, job done. Culture is everywhere, and everyone is just, accepting it. Culture culture shines through behaviors, and people learn what they see, how other people around them behave, and there are some sort of natural mimicking. Okay, when you enter a social structure, you get in touch with behaviors, and somehow you influence the social structure, and they influence you. Talking about our work as HR team, we are two. There's not that much of an HR team, we are just two of them, me and my colleague Erika. What we really wanted to achieve is making our culture shine through every of our behaviors since the first contact with anyone. And since we are in charge of the first contacts with applicants and new hires, we know we have a great responsibility to make all our cultural values shine through. So what we actually did was applying a DevOps mindset to our processes, HR processes. This is true since some years now, but in the last 18 months, we made huge progresses on the onboarding phase. We are trying to shift everything left. I will skim through these as fast as possible. I hope it won't be boring. But basically, in the first phase, that is the sourcing phase, which is when you go and proactively search for someone. We do everything in-house. We don't work with headhunters. Okay, it's wonderful, like riflemen. No, we do everything internally. We get in touch with people directly, or we wait for someone to apply to our job positions. What we really want in this phase is anticipate every possible information people may want from us, okay? Because we don't want to lose time in unmatching opportunities, so we strive to be transparent. We have a playbook since years now that is not just for new hires. It is the handbook of the whole company. It contains everything we know about ourselves. And this is used almost daily from everyone, I hope. I'm looking at you. In the screening phase, when we get in touch with someone and we want to go on, this is where we try to, let's say, make sure we are a good fit for the candidate and the candidate is a good fit for us. And to that extent, we don't want just, for example, to judge from a CV or from a presentation letter. We send them, before the first interview, we send them a lot of information about ourselves, everything you've seen before, plus we ask for a self-assessment based on evidences, like it's a sort of skill metrics on soft and hard skills. We are not asking you to rate yourself, we are asking you to to use evidences like, for example, on a specific topic, I'm totally, the scale goes from I'm totally unaware to I teach it to my colleagues at conferences or whatever, with all the things in the middle. This is useful because we get some information about the perceived confidence with some topics that are of interest for us, but on the other hand, the applicant knows what's interesting for us, even on the soft skills part. When we get to the first interview and we want to proceed, when we get to the second interview, the technical one, what we want to achieve is understanding and experiencing how you work, not what you know. What you know will change over time and will increase. We want to see how you approach work, and we want you to see how we approach work. So everything is organized like a challenge that can be synchronous or asynchronous depending on your preference. We want you to shine, not to be trapped into a situation you don't feel like you're safe. But anything you do, you will discuss it with us. We will review it together. We will ask questions, but we'll also maybe pair to improve it, fix some bugs or whatever. And in that very moment, you are called as an applicant to pose every possible question you want to your potential future colleague. We really want you to be sure that SparkFabrik is the place for you before going on. There is one key question after the technical interview. There is this one, basically. And the key point is, will this be a social good fit for you? Okay, if I hire this guy, do I get a drink from you? And this is very much about the perception, social part and whatever, okay? This is the most important thing. And then we get to the onboarding phase. Please tell me when I'm halfway through. Anyone? Okay. The onboarding phase is what we focused on most in the last 18 months or so. And our approach was to avoid every possible error and apply what we learned from the DevOps culture and the DevOps mindset. To such extent, we leveraged our HR platform, a simple tool we have, that can actually send and assign a lot of tasks depending on a workflow that you define to all the people involved. This will make sure that we don't lose any important part of the process. So that's basically about automation. But one thing we do as HR, we sit down with the team a couple of weeks prior to the first day of work to understand what the new hire will do in the first period, okay, during the onboarding. When we identify good first issues, it's not about the technical part, like they are easy enough or something like that. No, the good first issues are the ones that don't put a strict deadline on you. Because in the first couple of weeks, we want you to focus on how we communicate, our tool chain, our workflow, our channels, our people. It's not about delivering value. It's understanding how we deliver value, okay? And this is very important. We don't want to put you on a strain with conflicting priorities on that. Then, the first day of work, we cover you with information so you go home and your head will explode. So all this information that we give you on the first day will be automatically sent to you in short email peels over the next couple of weeks. Every peel contains link to our knowledge bases, like the playbook, and also some video tutorial that my colleague Erika recorded on all those tools that are boring to use, like how do I ask for time off, how do I track my time, and download my documents. It's something you do every now and then, so probably you want to go back and see those things. It's like 2 to 5 minutes, okay? Nothing really bad, but this was important to us, so we don't have to repeat all the liturgy over and over, like, okay. Then we printed a handbook that we put inside our welcome kit, among other gadgets, and this contains some additional information, more emotional ones if you want. And it's also nice to have something physical beside your keyboard that you can skim through quickly, so that the information are there right at hand. Okay. Then this is one one important part that we put in place with the help, actually under the suggestion of our tech department, we talking to the teams, to the welcoming teams during the feedback cycles, we identified that there are a bunch of basic technical skills, like I don't know, how to basically use Docker and what it's used for, moving in a Unix shell, what's the role of Kubernetes in our infrastructure, basics of security, stuff like that, okay? That we expect everyone to be aware about, okay? Not experts in. Just to be there, just to have a basic vocabulary to pose meaningful questions, discuss them with your team, know they are a thing, okay? It's more about awareness. The team, you observed that when you hire a new guy or a new person, basically in the first months, you discover by stumbling upon what's still lacking that maybe some of the basics concepts are not available and learned. So we decided to shift left again, identify a set of training resources that sum up to 40 hours that we will dedicate. The second day of onboarding, you will have an assessment with your team and team leader about your degree of confidence, and based on that assessment, we will set up a learning path, and we will dedicate this budget of time for you, so you are actually, up to speed with those basic concepts. This is a 6-month-old, more or less, attempt. 5 or 6 people actually enjoyed this, and the results are pretty good, listening to the feedback of the team. Then, we automate feedback cycles automatically on the calendar. I won't go through the details of that, but it's up to 2 months after your first day. This is more or less 2/3 of the probation period, and this is when we consider your onboarding more or less complete. The feedback is heavily focused on relations. Are you going along with the team? Do you feel easy? Do you feel free to speak your voice? Are you experiencing our core values in your day-to-day? This is what matters most. And of course, if you have any training need or skills, I don't know, level to raise, we are interested in listening. So, how does it work? Pretty well. I mean, we are seeing that everything we care about is actually working. We have high retention. One of the key values, the transparency. People are not scared about talking to each other or even saying, I did a mistake, can someone help me, please? I think that's true. We see even new entries talking to each other, not shying away from asking silly questions, what they consider to be silly, okay? That there is no such thing as a silly question. So we are pretty happy. And just a couple of vanity metrics, sorry for that, but I think this is probably irrelevant to many of the companies that are here today to present. I'm here with Microsoft, Docker, whatever, so probably this is not the numbers for companies like them, but to us it's really important because in 2019 we was 26 people. By 2023 we are 55, okay? But the important part is that we grew from 12, 13 to 26 in 6 years, and then we doubled the size of the company in three years. This is, of course, a lot due to the way we started to communicate. We invested a lot in communicate to the external world, be more present, invest something in marketing, but the process is smooth enough so that we managed, two of us, managed to process more than 500 applications only the last year, okay? And this went without that much strain. This is possible, and we did some great hire in the last months. So we are pretty happy, okay? Now, for the second part of this, I want to talk about the future, and I hope maybe some of the reasoning we are doing may help some of you. I don't know which companies you come from, if they are small companies, medium ones, big ones, but maybe this will help you anyway, making a, getting some insight on how the team can grow, okay, keeping a good quality in the relations that happen between them. What are those growing pains? I talk as a founder. SparkFabrik used to be a small company, let's say a family one, more or less. Okay, not exactly a family company, but we were constantly in touch, and us as founders was able to communicate with everyone. We were at direct reach for everyone. Okay, this is no more the case. We are too much. Our time is limited, and I think that most of all, many new entries don't feel that much entitled to come and knock at the door of the CTO, for example, or talking to the CEO. This is ever more exacerbated by the fact that we are all full remote today. We have always been remote friendly, but now we are remote, period, okay? And this is something you don't have to underestimate, because conversation has been replaced by communication. What I mean with that is that face-to-face, in-presence conversation is hardwired in our brains by millions of years of evolution to convey a lot of meaning with our words, okay? Words are really a novelty in nature, but we get a sense of what others are thinking, feeling, meaning from non-verbal communication. If you switch from that to 80% of your communication going on Slack, for example, it's like spying others through a keyhole, okay? It's not the same broadband communication you had before. This may seem, it's nothing really impactful, but in retrospective, we would have addressed this before. Of course, we are organized in teams, and we are seeing for that some subcultures that are emerging. It's not exactly bad per se, but we want to keep them aligned. And the more the company grow, the more we need clear field positions. Okay, we are not just a bunch of teams working together. We need accountabilities to be clear to what to whom have to take them on their shoulder, but also to the other ones, so that everyone knows what to expect from each other. And that's the main important part. This is hindering a bit our ability to innovate. We are not a service company in terms of body rental or team extension. Basically, what we do is to provide meaningful solutions, apply our expertise, and innovate on every aspect of our work as much as possible, of course. The problem is, without clear accountabilities, people are beginning to feel, they don't take the risk of innovating, because innovation is a risk. You have to fail to innovate, okay? So, what we know about what has to be done to fix this is that, of course, we lack a clear system of delegation, a clear schema. We know that we have conflicting priorities between delivery and innovation. Like if I work for the project of the customer, I can't go wrong, okay? I am delivering, so it's billable, so nobody will complain. If I take some risk, as I told you, this is maybe firing back to me. We have a performance assessment in place, but it needs to be rebuilt from scratch. We are in the final phase on doing that, actually, and we want to roll it out by the end of March, April, maybe. We hope. That is based on evidence, much like we want people to be able to self-assess and to assess each other in a way that is to the most extent possible objective, okay? And that clarifies what the company expects from you. And then we fall into what I call the expert's deception. You won't find that on Google. It's my naming for a bias I discovered we have. So the next challenge to scale up is to create, to nurture new managers to carry the torch we want to be carried across the whole company, even to the darkest corner, let's say. So there are two delusions at work, two biases, let's say, that I observed, and we are trying to cope with them. One is the Peter Principle. Who of you already knows this? Okay, 1/3 of you. Okay, the Peter's Principle is a counterintuitive effect of a specific type of hierarchies. If I promote someone based on the performance he has in a specific position he's already occupying, so if you are good at doing what you do, I will promote to a new position. And this may happen again because you're really good in that position. So you become, for example, from a lead developer to a staff engineer, okay? And then I promote you again, and then at some point, you will occupy a position that is totally not for you, and you perform meh, okay, in that position. There, when you stop growing, and you will tend to occupy the position you perform crap, okay? So this is an oversimplification, of course, but this is how many golden cages come to be, okay? I will pay you a lot, and you do a work you hate, and you can't step back because that's the ladder, okay? So what we're trying to do to cope with that, we think that another model is possible, because you know, once the blue line comes from a discussion I had with a chef. He told me that the chef is not the best cook in the kitchen. Probably in very, very good kitchens, you have wonderful cooks, people that can cook desserts or meat or whatever, very, very good, better than the chef. The role of the chef is to help them bring a great experience literally to the table, okay? That's the role of a chef, coordinating, deciding, be prompt, okay, and helping anyone to succeed. And this opened my mind because hierarchies, you know, when you climb a hierarchy, you get to work probably with people in the end, okay, more and more with people and complexity, but this is a supporting role, not a governing or commanding role. This is support. And if you think about that, you can support other people even from beside, not from the top, okay? So what we're trying to do is to make our modular. We identified a set of roles that we care about, like analysts, domain analysts, software architects, team leaders, okay? That are not going with the seniority ladder. Of course, if you are a developer, a cloud engineer, a designer, the more skilled you are in what you do, what you produce, of course you climb the seniority ladder. But during that process, if it's your nature, if you are very good at something, if you want to get trained for that, if you want to take the challenge, you can take over some role. Of course, maybe a software architect can't be an intermediate developer. That's okay. But maybe a team leader can be an intermediate developer. Maybe someone is really, really good at analyzing domains. And it doesn't matter how good it is in writing software. Not directly, okay? Things influence each other, but they are not in direct relation. So what we want to provide, and also tenure, knowledge of SparkFabrik, knowledge of the company, knowledge of the values that are the basics of our culture, would allow you eventually to be the next top manager of the company. This is something we really need. We really start to see in the future. So the idea is to say, are you willing to take a challenge and try to, I don't know, lead this project that is coming? And this is an experiment. This is innovation. You can, maybe we are recognizing you, the opportunity, what it takes, okay? Or you want to take this challenge and you come talk to us. And we can experiment and we can see if it's for you or if you want to shift aside or go back to where you came from. And you say, who actually wants to go back just coding? A lot of people. We have one wonderful team leader, really, that already led 2 projects for us, great work, and he constantly say, okay, I can do it again if you really need me, but I would go back coding all days, okay? And I really prefer to stay there in the vertical axis, okay? And this is nice to be able to say, yes, you could, no problem. Of course, if you take some responsibilities, you have to be rewarded for them. So instead of promoting you and raising your gross salary, what you are doing is, okay, your salary increases with your seniority, of course. On the other hand, if you take more responsibilities, we will integrate your salary with something. If you want to step back, no problem. Maybe those integrations, part of those integrations will go back to your salary because you learn something new, your seniority increased. But you are in control of what you get and what you do, okay? Also, if we discover that you're not a good fit for that position, we can step back. Okay. We are trying to put this into production probably this year and see how it works out. Maybe I will come back to you crying because nothing worked. I don't know. But this allows us to cope with the first delusion, the Peter's principle. The second delusion is the expert's deception, what I call, as I call it. This is probably best shown and don't tell. How much time I'm left? Wow. No. Okay. So I will just tell. Imagine you go. Imagine I ask some of you. Some of you may be expert with some trivial facts. Okay. Something like, for example, some of you may be very, very expert in Japanese anime or beer brewery. Okay. So I will take a couple of you. We'll talk to a couple of you very, very experts with beers, for example, and ask, since you are expert, please talk to each other and try to say me which kind of beers I like. I don't think this is a meaningful question. I don't think this is feasible, okay? The problem here is you can't, at least you have to pose some question. Okay, but you probably to answer this question, to fulfill my needs, and understand which kind of beers I like, you will have to probe. You will have to ask me to taste someone, give feedback, do some experiment. Okay. Now, how is this related to the problem we have? The problem we have is that so many times. The ongoing idea is, if I have senior and expert people, they will lead innovation because they are expert. Nope. If I ask you someone because you are expert, it means that I recognize that you know something really well. And you will answer me with what you know, not with what you don't know. An innovator is an expert in conducting experiments, okay? I can't just expect senior devs, lead devs, and whatever to innovate because they know the matter. Innovation is stepping into the unknown, and this is very important in terms of shaping the right expectations for anyone. So, to drive innovation, what we want really is to learn how to delegate, shape the expectations, as I just said, and provide people with the right tools, processual tools, okay, procedural tools. A couple of devices for this analysis. Delegation is not I do or you do. It's a spectrum, okay? There is a small framework like the 7 delegation levels. It's one of the many. The slide is here just to acknowledge that delegation is not me or you, it's we on a spec, okay? And the other one is Kunivin. Anyone raise your hand if you know what this is? Thank you. Okay, no, okay, I have to explain. Now, this is a situational framework that Devin Townsend created to make a sense from a manager perspective of how people behave in a situation of different degree of complexity. It is actually pretty easy when you grasp it, but the problem is that what it tries to represent is different level of complexity. From clear, that is everything is known, there is no unknowns, and we just apply a practice we already have, possibly the best one, okay, to solve a problem. There is nothing to understand here. They just act because you categorize the events. Going counterclockwise, we have complicated, where relationships, cause and effect relationships, are known by analysis, and this is where most of our work happens. Okay, we don't want to I don't know, duel in the clear because it's boring. We want to engage our brains in the complex. If you go left, complicated. If you go left, you get the complex, and there is where all the cause and effects relationships can't be known by analysis, but by observation in retrospective, okay? There are a lot of unknowns. I just put an example new. Imagine you go to the client, maybe someone of you already experienced this. You go to the client and they talk about all their process you have to automate. Then you go back with a prototype with everything that solves everything they said. And the first thing you open the first page of the prototype and someone say, okay, how this relates to invoicing? Invoicing? Yes, we have all the invoicing process right here. We didn't know it. We gave it for granted. Okay, there is an unknown. Okay, you didn't know. That's why you go with the prototype and not with the full software, because you want to discover it before spending all the budget. Okay, and then there is a chaotic. The chaotic is very important. If you have someone in chaos can be social chaos. Imagine you have a problem in production, an angry customer, and your colleague that took care of everything, that knows everything, is on vacation, unreachable. You are scared, okay? The most important thing when you are in the chaos is apply a very quick decision, give orders to scared people, so that you go back to the complex domain, okay? One thing I discovered is that there are different delegation levels and leadership attitudes depending on where people are. You can delegate everything when it's all clear, of course. It's just mechanical. You can automate everything because of DevOps, okay? Of course, you can talk to give advice or ask for what is happening on the project to experts working in the complicated field. But you want probably to sell your solution or consult or be consulted when people are taking risks over there. And of course, giving order to step out of the chaos when you are down there. Yes, but where innovation happens? Basically, here, in the complex. Innovation is when you don't know something. Here is probing. Here is losing time. Here is making errors, allowing mistakes, okay? Not every kind of mistake. You have to understand how far you can go. Almost done. Is the last one. You want people to have the right degree of freedom to experiment. You give them a budget so they are in control of what they're doing, time budget, money budget, whatever it is. And you want to define success with them. Where are we successful? Even a failed experiment gives you a lot of information. A POC that doesn't go the right way is good because you know that that tool doesn't help you, okay? So help them define the success of their work because they have to shape new work, okay? Not to do new work. And find a proper way to measure results because people have to understand how good they are doing in this position, and it's not simple at all. In conclusion, I think companies can scale up without sacrificing their culture on the altar of money, and not only money. Experimentation and innovation is not about the output. It's not about what you do. It's what about you can do. You don't want to do. It's more about what you want to learn. Okay, and to delegate effectively. It's better to understand which kind of emotional stress people are are living, are experiencing. Because, and I'm over, our emotional brain is millions of years, tens of millions of years more ancient than our rational brain. So, we are talking about safety. Safety is not like I don't have any source of stress. Stress is what drives you forward, and that's okay, the uncomfort zone. But you don't want to have scared people, because scared people are not primates, they are reptiles, okay? They have just 3 possible solutions: fake death, escape, attack. You don't want innovators, experts to work in that field, okay? Don't put them in that situation. And this is very important, so that they can innovate. I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All good?
Yeah. I hope.
Thank you so. Yeah. Well, they can still ask you questions in the coffee break that we are having right now. Sure. 2 things. I want to make a public call out. Sorry, I hope that person doesn't mind. So I need to swap. Alessandro Ronchi, I don't know if it's in the room. Yeah. Thank you so much for providing feedback so far. So please be like Alessandro Ronchi, because it's very helpful. And the interesting thing is that he provided a feedback while you were talking. So you have a new fund, I think. Maybe you can connect. Yeah. The talk is still in progress, and I feel the urgency to already rate it and give 5 stars.
Wow.
Maybe he changed his
Thank
mind
you.
towards
I can
the
pay
end.
you later.
Maybe he changed his mind towards the end.
Thank you.
So yeah. Okay.